What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we've got a new demo that's been released for Beneath the Mountain. This is one of those games that I'm very excited about. I think that this game exists somewhere in the realm of, like, Dungeon Keeper, but with dwarves, basically. The general idea is you are building a dwarf fortress underneath the ground, and you are constantly under attack by, like, existential outside threats. And the goal of the game is to dig down deep into the earth and recover the heart of the mountain before you are overwhelmed by your enemies. So anyways, today we're going to dive on in. We're going to take a look at the game for about 30 minutes. We covered it about 8 or 9 months ago, and I am happy to say that the demo is actually quite different now. Like, the pacing of the game has been changed up. The graphics have gotten a little bit more refined. There's a little bit more structure in here. There's, like, research menus and things of that nature, and so it's good to see the demos making progress and kind of iterating towards something complete as it goes along. The game is slated for release sometime this year. They said early 2022, but seeing as it's now July, I'm guessing that that's probably not the case any longer. But you can get this demo. It's freely available to everyone. You can go play it, and you can vet my opinions about the game for yourself, which I always recommend that people do. You should never let some idiot on the internet dictate, like, opinions. Just don't let that happen. Like, I'm always very, very careful to be like, you know, with all these demos, you can play them too. Like, I can go through and give you my thoughts, but by no means am I infallible. I make mistakes all the time. And so anyways, Beneath the Mountain. We're going to play for about 25-30 minutes to see if it's something you want on your wish list or not. Looking down below, you'll have the demo down there, and then on top of that, you can join my Discord and my Twitch stream down there in case you wanted to hang out live. Let's go ahead and play the game. First thing we got to do is we got to generate a map. So generate away. There is our map generation. This right here is basically where we're going to be attacked from. Basically, this is going down floor by floor, and then as of right here, you can see the mountain heart. And so anyways, our base will be this little blue dot right here, and the invasion is going to come in from, like, this area. As I understand it anyways. I've done a couple of practice runs just to get a feel for it. Let's go ahead and play. We'll be on the normal difficulty, and hopefully this goes well. It's time to strike forth the anvil, to strike for the glittering, to clamber the scaffolds and let the halls be filled with the ringing of gemstones, because dwarves are by far the superior fantasy race. My king, the heart of the mountain lies beneath us. We must reach it before the orcs destroy our home. We have no time to lose. Let's get digging and establish the defenses. War is coming. All right, so as you can see, we are right here at the beginning. The game does use a push-pause system that can be controlled with the spacebar, as for when you're playing things like RimWorld. You can see we've got a number of dwarves, and we have our king. If the king dies, that's it. That's the end of the game. You definitely don't want the king to die. The rest of these guys are non-combat units. They are miners. They're basically the exact same as the minions or the imps from Dungeon Keeper. You're going to be able to tell them to clear things out and kind of open up areas and look for resources and things of that nature. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and scout and have a look around and just try to figure out exactly what we have going on in front of us so that I can pick a good area to work from. We'll start clearing out walls and whatnot as well with our miners, just trying to make sure that we've got a little bit of equitable building space. When you mouse over these tiles, they will give you a preview of the resources that exist inside of that tile. So like gold, how much work it's going to take to tear it down, and how much stone or marble is inside of there. We don't have a lot of building space for the moment, but we do have a little bit. It looks like there's a gap right here. And so I think this wall is separating us from something bad. There is a little bit of randomness that's encompassed inside of this game. Sometimes you get maps that are really, really good, and they are super fortuitous, and they have goodies all over the place. And then other times you get maps where you are just cramped in between many hostile forces that really want you to hurt and really want you to suffer. This map appears to be kind of like that ladder category. I'm not seeing a whole lot of really great things to mine out here. I'm trying to, like, feel out with the mouse what I can touch versus what I cannot touch. But for the moment, we're going to have to let these guys mine. Now, they will pick up the gold that's encompassed inside the walls, and we'll be able to use that to build buildings. At the top of the screen, you can see all the various UI elements that you're going to need in order to properly play the game. We've got our population cap. We've got the amount of gold that we've currently got stored inside the horde. We've got our prestige. The prestige is not influenced yet, like it's not in the game, so I don't know exactly what the prestige is going to do. We have our stone, we have our metal, we have our food, we have our engineering parts, and we have our runic knowledge, which basically opens up into a tech tree for the various aspects of the game. Basically, you're assembling these runes right here, and you pick these perks and they fill in the runes and the whole thing lights up. So technically it's not a tree. You can take any research you want at any time you want, and the game is about finding good builds for all the various aspects of your society, kind of accentuate their ability to perform. And so anyways, some pretty cool stuff going on there. I'm going to go ahead and get a couple more miners built. Because we are going to need a much larger workforce if we want to get things done in a timely fashion. I don't want to, like, overmine this area, but I do need building space, because the buildings in this game are actually quite chunky and large, and so, like, it's a good idea to make sure you haul out kind of like an area where everybody can live inside of. I will speed up the game for just a moment, because we do have a lot of work to get done in front of us. With 3 more miners, I think that work should happen a little bit faster. Hey, we actually found a node right there that has some metal inside of it. Good, that should bring in some solid cash. The first thing that I'd really like to build is a barracks, but as you can see, the barracks is quite large, and I've got to wait for these tiles right here to be up and out of the way. The game is quite dark. It's meant to be dark. You can deploy lampposts. Darkness in this game is effectively the fog of war. Like, it's like the same idea. You can't see what's out in the dark. Bad things happen out in the dark, and you can kind of build like these transit structures that are lit up and things of that nature to expand your line of sight. It's a really, really good idea because it allows you to, like, orchestrate the war effort and figure out how to deal with enemies that are sort of coming your way. We do have a little bit of gold over here, so that should help out. We don't have a lot, but we've got a little bit, and a little bit's better than nothing. I do wish that there was differentiating priorities, so like when you click on these, it gives a mine or a not mine order. I'd like there to be one extra one, like with little blue icons, which means mine this first. Like mine all the stuff, but definitely get this one first before you move on to anything else. I'll go ahead and queue those up too right there, since those are going to be moneymaker tiles. Game does make use of a lot of like really soft lighting, which I think is a really, really strong decision. I think it really accentuates kind of like the nerve-wracking nature of being in the dark. Like, I actually really, really like the way that the fog of war and the soft lighting is used in this game, and how every dwarf has like kind of a little candle on his helmet while he's running around that just like briefly and a tiny bit illuminates areas that might be dangerous. I really need you guys stop working on those and get this tile right here. That's going to be the important one. This one needs to go before everything else, and then I'll requeue everything else up. As far as I know, you can't rubber bandbox tiles like you could in other Dungeon Keeper style games, and definitely get that one out of the way too. That one's going to take a lot of work, but we should have enough space to put down our barracks now, which is good. Our engineer is going to get to that. All of your working dwarves are basically miners or engineers. Engineers handle construction, and then miners will knock down walls. When engineers are idle, they will install paving, and they'll install inscribed walls along the edge of the base, a la Dungeon Keeper. I get the feeling that Dungeon Keeper was a very, very big inspiration on this game, or like War for the Overworld, those types of titles. You guys all get back to work and knock out all those spots right there. Our barracks is officially done. However, we only have the population right now to add one more dwarf to our society. That's a bit of a bummer, but we can get on top of that. It's not too huge of a deal. One thing that's kind of odd about this game is that the buildings don't all seem to adhere to the exact same grid. So, like, you can see right there, I guess it kind of lines up with the front pylons, or I guess the front support struts on the barracks, but it seems to line up along the back end rather than the front end, and I don't know if I'm in love with that as someone that's kind of like fastidious about building in squares and grids. It makes my eyeball be like, it's out of alignment! It makes my inner gamer OCD fall apart very, very quickly, to where I find myself like staring at it and being like, can I fix this? And once we get this house up, it's going to raise our population cap. We should start to see some invasions coming in pretty soon. We're going to start to see greenskins probe this area a little bit. Don't knock down that wall. That leads to another area. Some of these caverns that you pop open can be really, really, really dangerous. There can be lots of bad things inside of there. And if you pop the cork on an area of the dungeon that has a lot of really bad things inside of it, prior to like a wave or prior to being ready to deal with the really, really bad things that are inside of it, you should expect that to be kind of a cataclysmic event for dwarven kind. This right here, I think, is a spot that's suitable for you to put down a stairwell. I'm not super sure about it. This is a new mechanic that I haven't really had time to plumb out while I was doing my test plays, but I'm pretty sure these are indicated areas where you are expected to make stairwells that go down to the next level and effectively advance you in the game. Let's go ahead and knock out all these walls too, I guess. Actually, don't. That right there, it looks like that actually opens up that little back area, and I'd rather not. Ah, goblin armies will arrive in 26 days. Sounds like we're going to need some warriors. Let's go ahead and we'll get like 3 dwarf warriors trained. We don't really have any way to like heal or support these guys just yet, so I'm going to kind of... I don't want to think about them this way because in my mind, all dwarf life is precious, okay? But these guys, this first wave of soldiers is going to be kind of expendable, largely due to the fact that like we need to get farms up and running and we need to get like a tavern if we really, really want these guys to be able to heal. In this game, you don't have natural passive regeneration. Instead, your guys have to go to the tavern and they have to eat food, which is one of the resources you collect through farming. Since we don't have access to food just yet, everybody's kind of working on a grumbly tummy and doing the best that they possibly can. I'm going to go ahead and put these guys over here, and we're going to scout a little bit. I want to see what's on the opposite side of this wall before I get to the digging. It looks like we do have a pretty large area right here if we can just get the walls knocked out. So I will put them to that task, although it looks like we can't knock out these little stones right here, which I actually find to be mildly concerning. Okay, so those can't be mined. Maybe later on we can blast them out with dynamite or some kind of explosive, but they are going to need to go down this way. It looks like there's also another cavern. You guys come back down this way and scout this corner for me. I need to kind of like get a lay of the land and figure out what's happening here. So it looks like we have a... Actually, we don't have a walkway on that side. Okay, so we may need to drop a bridge over on that side, but I'm a little bit worried about what might exist over there. What does a bridge cost me? 50 bucks and some stone? Okay, it's expensive. I don't think I want to drop that much money. Instead, for right now, I think what I'll do is I'll expand the army just to make sure that we've got like a strong troop presence so that we can defend the territory. And once the goblins have been knocked down, what we will think about doing is taking down this wall right here because I can see a spider lair inside of there. You can just barely see the spiders and the bugs moving around on that side. And so we need to get on in there. We need to rock and stone. Like we need to kind of take care of the bug problem. If we don't, we're going to be kind of limited on the amount of building space that's going to be available for our people. Here come the goblins. Let's go ahead and get on into the fray. Looks like the goblins are like dead set on attacking my miners. A little bit unfortunate. They ran the line. I'm trying to pull aggro right now, but they're not making it easy. There we go. Fight me, dude. Fight me, you little goblin bastards. Get on over here, you whale piper. Let's go. Looks like the fight is won on this side. Good. Let's bring the rest of our... Oh, my God. They really want that miner right there. I'm going to have him kind of come back this way. You guys come back this way. Gather up the enemy a little bit. There we go. Now the fight has been joined, and you guys can officially sort of like, okay, maybe not. Come, dwarves are bleeding. Dwarves are dying. I guess we'll just stand our ground and fight. I don't want to because these guys aren't super great at standing their ground and fighting. But it kind of is what it is at this point. This little guy's routing. He's trying to hide behind like a basket of ore over there. Don't think that's going to work out for him the way he thinks it's going to work out. We will go ahead and grab all the dwarf warriors, and we'll pull them up this way. We will take the king and pull him up this way. All right, so now that we've got our forces arranged, we need to pop the cork on this tunnel over here. It's going to get a little bit rougher before it gets a little bit better. Fair warning. But we gots to do what we gots to do out here. So let's go ahead and get the military ready to face whatever threat is going to be coming from that side. We do have some ore on this side, but I'm a little bit worried that it's like bait ore, like it's trying to get me with the trixies. Let's go ahead and do our research as well. So for my mining, I would like you guys to work faster. So we'll take 20% faster speed on mining. We'll take the 250 bonus gold whenever we open up a new cavern. And then as far as the king goes, he has lots and lots and lots of abilities. I would like to gain a 25 chance to attack again immediately. Yes, Ferocious Assault. That sounds great. Because he hits like a truck already. So if we can chain those together like old school vanilla World of Warcraft Wind Fury style where it's just tap, 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 tap. Like that would be really, really cool. It's unlikely that that's going to happen with a 25% chance. But in my head it seems really, really badass and I want it to happen. And so hopefully it shall. Go ahead, my little workers. My workers, get this wall open. There we go. Get that thing knocked out. Apparently there's another goblin army coming as well, so we're going to need to deal with this crisis in a timely fashion. We've got 26 days to mess around with, so it's not too bad. It could be better, it could be worse. Warriors, into the cavern. Everyone into the breach, and let's make sure there's nothing too bad inside of here before the goblins arrive. So we've got some kind of, like, spitty monsters over here. Some kind of vomitrons. Let's go ahead and knock those on out. That's a new model that I've never seen before. Those did not exist in the previous demo that I played. They don't appear to hit that hard, so I'm not super worried about them. But, you know. I would like to see the units. Like, when you individually select a unit, you don't really get a readout for, like, how much damage they deal, how much total HP they have. That's information that I would like to be privy to. Just me personally. Go ahead and knock down all these walls now that we've got it cleared. Actually, leave those two where they're at. I've got a feeling that might be a trap. But if you could all dig in this direction, it would be great. A lot of these walls should come down pretty quickly. They don't seem like they have a whole lot going on for them. We're pop-capped out, and we need to decide on what we want to do for our economy. I'm going to put the dwarves over here for when the next attack arrives. But honestly, until we have building space, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot done. My engineer's over here. He got chewed on pretty good, which is kind of a bummer. We do have a little bit of cash coming in from that side. These waves are going to get nastier and gnarlier as the game goes along. Let's go ahead and start putting in light sources as well to kind of make the place look a little bit more attractive. So we'll put in one right there. We'll put in one right there. We'll kind of put in one right there. And then we'll kind of have like a light pole right there as well, because the darkness is just kind of overwhelming right now. The game does come with a brightness control. I cranked mine way up. This is what it looks like with the brightness meter halfway up. To give you some context for it, the brightness meter starts out by default at the intended level of all the way down. And so the game is normally even darker than this. I've turned it up for the purposes of the YouTube video, just so you could see a little bit better, but the game is actually meant to be dark and intimidating and kind of scary. As far as I know, at least to the phase of the game that I personally have played, it doesn't seem like, to me, anything spawns out in the dark if you don't illuminate it, so I'm not sure to what extent these light posts are really necessary aside from being kind of aesthetically pleasing. I just sort of build them because I like to be able to use my eyeballs as the great nature lord intended, but like, you know, no promises. The nice thing about this area is that it should open up. It looks like there's a much larger cave over on that side too. We're gonna have to clear that out, at least before I start building and getting all crazy. As soon as they get that knocked down, I think I can be a happy boy. It is indeed knocked down, so we're gonna need a fungus farm. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze to put a fungus farm right there, and as you can see, a lot of the buildings are quite gargantuan. I could put the fungus farm right there, but once again, it feels kind of cramped. Maybe I'll put in another lamppost over here so that I can see. We'll kind of like lamppost right there for a minute. Oh, good. We've got an orc army that's on its way in, too. Apparently, when it rains, it pours. We're going to have business to get to. There are 11 goblins. We are going to meet them in the melee of war. We should have them pretty resoundingly outmatched. And even if we don't, we've got a pretty decent set of money to replace soldiers that fall in combat, so I think we'll be okay. And like that, the goblins have been laid waste. I'm going to make the fungus farm over here as soon as they get some of this area knocked out. Yeah, let's just do the fungus farm right here, actually. There we go. Fungus farm, good to go. And then as soon as we have enough money gathered on up, we can make a tavern. That means that we're going to be able to heal our units, and hopefully I can get that finished off before the enemy decides to take the boots to me medium style. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'll get the miners mining down here. It looks like there is an enormous cavern down on this side, and I have to pop the cork on it, I think, in order to get after this spot right here. We'll also want to start putting in, this game is a big fan of railways, so at a certain point we're going to have to start putting in railways, basically, so that people can get back to the miner building that they all work out of. This is where they drop off all their cash and all the things they've picked up out of the walls. And so we're going to have to build that up a little bit too. As far as culture goes, what can we do in culture? Distant relatives support your claim on the mountain and grant you 500 gold to spend at your discretion. We do seem to have a gold problem, and so I'll take that 500 right now, because I personally think that's going to allow me to build another house right here, which I think will look good. And then that will kind of begin the process of building our railways that run throughout the kingdom as well, to allow people to get to where they need to go. So there's our railway right there. We're going to need a turn. There's our turn. Oh no, dude, that's lined up with the lamppost. No. Okay, I got it. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. We do get like a minor refund for this, but it's not what I wanted. I need the turn to be like right here. Because of the angle of the camera, I messed up the turn. There we go. And then we're going to need like an ending cap right there. And then we're going to need like an ending cap right there. Perfect. Now they should be able to take minecarts in order to get between these two parts of the base more rapidly. Like, it should allow them to kind of reposition quickly when they're coming out to like mine and to drop things off. Is that a chasm right there? We may be surrounded by a chasm. It may actually be safe to work some of that ore. It's hard to say though for right now. I am going to need more illumination over here. It is still far, far too dark. So we'll plop that in right there so that maybe instead of having to mouse over everything, I can actually see the walls that surround me. On the eve of the orc invasion, unfortunately, I have failed to get my tavern up and running, which is kind of a bummer. I'm gonna go ahead and queue it on up. We're definitely gonna lose some soldiers here, but like I said, these guys were kind of sacrificial from the beginning. Like, they had to die for Carl, okay? Like, they didn't rock and stone hard enough, therefore they shall not be returning home. It also kind of depends where the orc aggro ends up. If the orcs focus on the guys that are already weakened, then we may have a bad time. Yeah, rejoin the fray. Trying to select that dwarf right there, but the lamppost is in the way. Damn. Such is life. Molly carries minerals. I kill orcs and mines. Dwarf life in a nutshell. Go ahead and wipe them on out. I would like to see veterancy added to a lot of these guys too. That'd be really, really rad. Sometimes there's little issues, I think, with the nav meshes and the pathfinding. Oh, we lost another one. Okay, well, we don't have any invasions coming anytime soon, so hopefully it'll be all right. Over here, it does not look like to me we have any tiles that are actually worth a lot of money. This is a very, very, very unfortunate mine. I can't express to you how little money is actually on this mine. That's the main stopgap that I think we're running into during this adventure. You guys should all definitely, yeah, as you can see right now, they're going to run off and they're going to go eat food until their health is refilled. I'm going to replace my losses with 2 more dwarf warriors. Our population is up to 20. So as we bring in cash, we should be able to get a few more dwarves. We're going to want this war party. Like, that was basically the end of, like, the first kind of trial wave of enemies. We're going to want to build up because they're going to escalate and they're going to get nastier. Now, we do have ways to deal with this. Inside the context of the game, there are walls, there are barricades, there are bastions, there are gates, there are booby traps once we have engineers working for our empire. And so we'll be able to kind of create like a funnel over here. that they have to come through that's full of, like, spinning death blade traps and things. But for right now, we'll have to leave it kind of where it's at. I have been having trouble with the performance in this game. I don't know exactly what causes the performance problems, but the game does seem to kind of pretty consistently fluctuate between like 60 FPS down to like 30 FPS, depending on the level of your zoom. I'm assuming that a lot of it has to do with like the volumetric lighting or like the soft lighting effects that are coming out of all the buildings, but I'm not a developer, so I'm not gonna... I'm not going to speculate too much because I'm talking completely and totally out of my sphincter. However, what I will say is they'll definitely want to get these performance issues sorted out before the game comes to a mainline release, because there are definitely people in the PC gaming community, and I would kind of sort of count myself amongst them, that like very, very stable, kind of like above 90 frame rates, especially when you're playing around with like, you know, especially when you're playing around with a little bit heavier of hardware inside your rig. We can get an axe guard over here. That's a two-handed dwarf. That sounds good. And then we've replaced a couple of our losses. So if we can focus almost entirely on hitting like these veins over here that are worth a lot of money, I think we can bring some cash in. I think it's definitely plausible. We just kind of need our dwarves to get after it. I don't know if I want to pop open another cavern to get the 250 bucks. Or if I want to wait for the goblin invasion to do it. We can build stairs down right now. Yeah, go ahead and build the stairs down. I'm interested in seeing how the Z levels function in this game, because I don't know if Z levels existed the last time I played the game. Good. Bring in money. We need more warriors. We'll get more miners pretty soon, too, because I do think that we need our economy to be humming pretty well. But strike for the glittering, brothers. Strike for it. It does look like there's a chasm neighboring that right there. Send a dwarf down here. Just take a look. Maybe we can get the light radius wide enough to actually figure out what's happening over here. No, that's definitely a cavern right there. Okay, I was wrong. I was wrong about it. Maybe we'll wait for the goblin invasion. There's bound to be... Oh, actually, that's kind of got caverns on all sides of it. Okay, I think we're in for a pretty nasty fight if we go down to the next level. But there is money down here, so that's good. Having a weather eye out for where the next supply of money is going to come from, I think, is really kind of an important part of the meta for this game. Like, just having a passing understanding of where your cash is coming from. We're going to wait for this goblin invasion, and then I think we'll probably get up to further mischief. We've got a couple more runic knowledge. I'd like to get this allocated before we join the next fight. Basically, we can give tower shields to our normal infantry. That gives them a chance to block that's 5% higher and reduce enemy damage. And then they're all fighting near the king, so I can give them +5 damage just for being near the king while they fight. I don't know how much damage they deal right now, but one thing I did notice while I was testing out the game is that when you do these upgrades, they do actually get little tower shields and things. So, like, if you upgrade your unit's armor, they will look like they have upgraded armor. If you upgrade your king's weapon, he will now have that new legendary weapon in his hand through using the tech tree. And so I think that's actually, like, a really, really, really nice detail. Like, I enjoy that tremendously. I got them started on that wall right there because, A, we need the money, and because, B, I'm going to need to get this down to low HP and then pop it, basically, as soon as this fight is over. We do have a little bit more cash on hand. How much of it I want to spend on military, I'm not too sure. But I don't think 2 more axe guys would really hurt the war effort. There we go. You guys drop off a little bit more cash. We'll kind of let this get down to like 20% HP right here. And that looks about right to me. All right, cancel the mining right there. We'll finish that tile off so that once we fight off the goblins over here, we will heal up at the tavern. We will come down here. We will pop this open. We'll fight all the bugs. We will heal again. And then we will come back and hold the line against this orc patrol that apparently is going to try to hit us shortly thereafter. From there, I'd like to crack open maybe this cavern right here so that I can clear out this wall and get a whole bunch of equitable building space. But I'm kind of flying by the seat of my dwarvish trousers right now. Oh, they're here. Hello, little gobbos. I don't know that the 5 damage really amplified a whole lot here. We're not losing guys, which is good. Nobody's dying quite yet. The two-handed axe guys definitely seem to hit really, really, really hard. So that's good information to parse till later. If you guys could, like, kill off some of these goblins, I would maybe think about getting rid of the fact where they just kind of, like, run away when they reach a certain HP level. It makes mopping and cleanup kind of annoying. I'm guessing that the solution to that is... I'm guessing that the solution to that problem is archers. But as of right now, when I've only got melee guys, chasing goblins all over the realm and trying to murder them can be a little bit of a headache. Now, you guys all heal up, and please heal up rapidly. There we go. And then we'll bring you guys down by this wall. We'll pop the cork on this dungeon right here. We'll fight all the bugs. We'll send them back to heal again, and then we'll put them up here to fight. Hey, there's one little guy surfing in his little minecart right there. Yay, they used the intended mechanic. All right. Transit methods inside my base. This might be kind of close, actually, now that I think about it. I may be being a tiny bit cavalier. You guys stay on the spiders. Then again, maybe the spiders won't hurt that much and I won't have to heal after we clear this out. Well, the spiders do appear to be developing a numerical advantage. Not great. Definitely less than perfect considering we have an invasion coming in about like 30 seconds, but you know, the timing was kind of tight. I had to do what I had to done. Worst case scenarios, we'll fall back and we'll just let the miners deal with kind of like the remaining stragglers of the spiders. Luckily, the spiders seem to have done like no damage whatsoever, so we're not going to have to heal in between these phases, which is really, really good. All right, you guys get back to the defensening, and we can start knocking out all these walls over here now. And then I'll start putting down lanterns so that we can see. I may demolish that end cap right there, and instead I'll have a branch that goes over to here with an end cap, and then we'll have this railway run down and into this area so that we can get around the base more quickly. But yeah, it's coming together. Oh yeah, it's coming together, my friends. This dwarf fortress is becoming strong. It is becoming unstoppable in the face of enemy contingencies. Apparently, they've all decided to go get snack time. That's fine. Everybody grab a snack pack. Make sure, you know, make sure you pay attention. We've had far too many dwarves choking on the little red plastic stick that you use to spread the cheese on the cracker. And so, you know, just to minimize workplace accidents, I would appreciate it if you would all just sort of pay attention to what it is that you're shoving inside your gob. We've got another level up right here. I'm probably going to dedicate it to my infantry. 15% more damage versus orcs and goblins. That does seem to be the pressing concern for right now. So yeah, let's go in on that. Oh, I thought from like the drum beats the enemy was coming already. I thought they were already like boom, boom, ba-boom, boom. You know, coming after us. Put another lantern over there. Oh, there's the fight. Oh, they've got a troll. Okay. Yeah, the king may need to evacuate. He's taking some pretty solid chunk damage right now. So if we can, let's see if we can't just kind of like run the king around right here and try to avoid getting hurt. You guys come over here and aid your king. He's not running away right now. He's tactically reappraising the situation, okay? This is not the face of a king that feels fear. This is the face of a king that has figured out the strength that can be found only in kiting and being super obnoxious. Okay, I'm not a coward. I'm a dexterity build, all right? All right? Okay, wipe out. Actually, I think that's an ogre. Or a cyclops or something. I'm not sure what he's supposed to be, but he's a jerk and I hate him. Alright, so with all of this stuff arrayed out here, it does look like we found a few more money veins over on this side. That's a really good thing. What I would like to do is let's go ahead and put a treasury down in this area, so if they have a closer drop-off point while they're dealing with all of this. We are going to take this right here, and we are going to demolish it, and then we're going to put a three-way joint right there. We'll move that over to there, and then we'll put an end cap right there. We will drag this down this way. There we go. I probably should have put another end cap over this way, but, like, it'll be fine. It'll be okay. I need more lanterns, too. It is very, very dark down here. Can I please use my eyeballs again sometime soon? Yeah, this is a game that's become more promising the further on in I've gotten into it. Like, we've only played a previous demo one time, but there is considerable advancement here from the part that we played a year ago versus now. And that's really why I do these checkup videos, because, like, I get... A lot of the time I feel like you can judge a game and its trajectory just by kind of the advancement it makes pre-sale through, like, its various demos, and so it's good to check in on those things to see what steps or missteps are being taken. So my name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we were messing around with Beneath the Mountain's new Steam demo. Tomorrow we will be doing something else. Thank you for the luxury of your time. Hopefully I did a good job in justifying it, and I will catch you all tomorrow with something hot and fresh up off the indie skillet. Later, dudes.